Hello, everyone. This is Enlightened Living with Truth and Oneness discussions on Enlightened Living with the Scorpio and the Aquarius. So, today we're going to be talking about random stuff again, I think. I think recently I came across, I don't know if anyone is familiar with the YouTube channel. I think they're called Inspired. They do a lot of awakening kind of thing. I think they channel a higher consciousness too that they put on their YouTube channel and everything. But anyway, yeah. So they talk a lot about this whole what's going on right now with the whole I still like calling it the pandemic. But
That's a good name for it.
Yeah. They had a recent video up. It's called "It Can't Be Stopped." Basically, the awakening. It can't be stopped is what they were getting. I only listened halfway through it. I'm sure the whole video is interesting, but I will put a link to it in the description box if anyone else wants to go and listen to their video, look at some of their other content. But basically, what was interesting about this video, well, the first thing was that, yeah, I think we're getting to the point too where, I think I've always kind of known they're not going to stop an awakening process that's happening right now in humanity, right? It's just nice to hear other people saying it too, and knowing that this is what's happening. We're moving toward the awakening, the great awakening of humanity on this planet, right? But they brought up in the video something called, which I think is interesting because it just is, the Project Looking Glass, which I've heard about it here and there, and I think we might have touched on it maybe in one of our other videos, I don't know. But they talk about how up until it's a government program, and I guess if you look it up and look at other people's research on it, you can kind of see sort of how everything ended up the way it did, sort of. But so I guess it's sort of like some sort of technology or something that the government uses to look into the future, and this thing spits out an answer, I guess, of different timelines, and so they're able to look at the different timelines and decide which one they want to be the outcome more than the others, and then they can manipulate sort of people's reality, or manipulate humanity in general, to push for the certain timeline that they want. And I guess up until, I can't remember what year, don't quote me on this.
2011, 2012?
I don't even know if I think that was it, the year. I think they said up until about 2012 or so. I think that year. When they asked the Looking Glass what the future was, only one timeline was given. And no matter how often they tried, they asked, I guess, again, or whatever, calculated, like only one timeline would come out since that time frame on, and so they started shitting bricks, I guess, because they're like, oh my gosh, what do we do? There's only one timeline. We can't manipulate it to other timelines because there's only one here, and that one timeline was basically showing the path that humanity is being led toward the Great Awakening, basically. And so basically what that, I guess, said is that, or showed them, is that there's nothing they can do about it. It's going to happen no matter what. You can do anything you want, but this is the only timeline that is that's here. This is leading down this road. And so I guess what's happening now, and what's been happening over the last 5-7 years or whatever, is that, and you can see this when you kind of back up and look at how events have played out over that time frame. It's like literally things that keep getting dumber and dumber when you look at the media and all that kind of stuff. It's so transparent that it's like, what are you guys doing? Making shit up here and there, basically. So it's almost like they've been doing everything they can to see if they can try to, alter the timeline, just throwing whatever at humanity, or trying to put whatever they can on TV just to distract, and see if they can make a difference. So they're basically sweating bullets, and ultimately the outcome's going to be the same. So yeah. So I thought that was interesting about this video. Any comments there?
It is pretty interesting. Is like as you're saying, you can definitely see if you pull back and as you like look at over the last 8 years, the media itself, everything that keeps turning inside. They're just like anything that they can get people's attention is what they just put everywhere. Like recently, the president, they said, ended up getting diagnosed with COVID. So every media source showed this. Like, how is that news? Like, the president got a cold, everybody. Like, stop the press. Everyone needs to publish this article. It's like, the president got a cold. Like, that's the most ridiculous
like literally
thing ever.
for the weekend.
Yeah, for the
it's
weekend.
like
It's like, that doesn't make any sense. It's like,
they really took that story and ran with it like as far as they could go and hit against the brick wall, depending on who you talk to, because there's still that group of people that probably are like, oh my gosh, now even the White House has it, you know what I mean? And they probably lock themselves in their bathroom, who knows.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, that's literally like how far we've gone. It's like literally something as silly as that like is everywhere. It's like and there's like this whole slew of like articles and news releases on like celebrities like getting sick or like doing something. It's like this is not news. Okay, it's like it used to be like news is supposed to be kind of like letting people know in their local areas or even nationally like what are some of the things that are happening, what's going on. And sometimes if there's no news, you don't need to tell anyone anything. But literally it's all just like, oh, guess what? Tom Hanks ended up getting sick, or he moved out of the country. It's like that's not news, you guys. Like that's they don't have anything anymore. So they're just trying to like if someone's like, oh look, Black Lives Matter, someone got attacked, and if they notice anyone bites on it at all, they just start flooding the water with as much bait as they can. Like, see, look, here, everybody, cops killing people. Yeah. Please look at this. Please look at this. Please look at this. It's they've become desperate because
and so desperate that like now, what did you say? They turn comments. You can't even make like people go to social media like Yahoo News, whatever, and like a discussion happens. And so what we've noticed is the discussion is starting to go in a direction that's more like, wait a minute, what the F's going on here? And so now they've kind of like turned the comments off on a lot of these. You can talk about it more excited.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like I used to look at a bunch of different news sites to kind of get information, kind of see where things are going, because to kind of get a perspective differently than what we have that we're picking up already, because it gave me kind of an idea of like where other people were at. What's funny is after a little while, especially this year, especially beginning this year, more and more people started rejecting the news that they're getting fed. And the comments and the people like started having dialogues in these comment sections about how all this stuff is messed up and sharing information about like why this is messed up, which is really funny. And of course, there's the trolls and stuff like that that are like, no, this is real, and they just like, or they just like badmouth people. But for the most part, more and more people, as the months were going on, started sharing and like disbelieving what was going on. So what did these news stations and stuff start doing? Turning off the dialogue, no more comments. And then when you go to other places and like read about like how they feel about what they did, they're like, I'm not listening to the news anymore because you are literally just giving me only one side now. Like you don't want me to hear anyone else's opinions. Like this is the absolute. That's not news. You're trying to control me.
Yeah.
So it's another thing that people are like, wait. So you don't like us actually discussing this. You want us just to eat it and tell someone else this stuff. So it's just interesting to see like even these news stations and channels and web pages are seeing things are changing and not for the way that they want it to go. So they're trying to stop it, but what that ends up doing is make people reject it even further. So it's actually a good thing.
Well, yeah, reject it, but in search of the real truth.
Yes.
Yeah, which a lot of people are really starting to. I mean, I would say that at this point, if a larger portion, if you're paying attention to anything, how can you not get what's going on? Like for real, you have to be pretty much locked yourself in like your trunk of your car or something. I don't know. and just have Fox News. I don't know, or what is this? It's actually the other station now that's more like become more of a brainwash station. It seems like MSNBC or something.
Like
Whatever,
CNN,
one is CNN. Yeah. But so basically, yeah, it's just interesting to see the progression of how things are. Like, I feel very hopeful about humanity. It's a great thing to see. I don't hope other people are feeling this too. There's a lot of silly things that are still going on, but even in all the silly things, because I think every little situation, everyone's specific situation, is important for the individual, even groups of individuals, to experience in order to make it past or make it over the hump, I guess, to get to where the perspective can be opened up enough to see truth from lies, and then you can start going through that awakening process, right? So another video that was really interesting, well, not interesting, but it was cool to watch. Vegetable Conspiracies is a YouTube channel. I think he videotaped in Canada where they're having a peaceful gathering. The video is called "What Happens When Canadians Wake Up to Tyranny." But in the video, it's really interesting because these people are, talking out, speaking out about how, we're not going to just put up with all the lies anymore. It's like obvious you guys are lying to us. You overreacted like 20-fold, 100-fold to something that's less of an issue than like a cold. Like, come on. And basically, it's people just kind of talking about it, at a rally or whatever you want to call it. And it's just nice to see because, yeah, people are doing things. And this stuff, and people are doing it not just in Canada, but this is all happening all over the world. It's not being put on the news, obviously, because they don't want people to see that people are actually, like, questioning this stuff and, like, literally saying, I'm not going along with it because you're lying. You're just trying to, like, make us do stuff we don't want to do, right? So that's a good video to watch if anyone wants to. I'll put that one also in the description box. Because even through the video, one of the guys that are talking brings up some really important points about the whole, the statistics. We could sit here and talk about, the statistics of the virus and whatever and, like, why it's not real, but you can go do your own research. We're all adults here, or you can look at this other video and listen to other people talk about it. We're not here to necessarily punch numbers, at least not with this video. Okay, yeah. We're not doing number crunching, but no, it's an interesting video because they bring up a lot of good points on, exactly, where we're being lied to, the points that we're being lied to about, and the obvious, points of that. So that's a good one to watch too. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's like they're trying to hide the fact that a lot of people are coming out and speaking about things because it's like the ones that they'll publish are the ones where people are like destroying stuff because they want to see people like looking like there's chaos and not actually people just questioning and like
and it's usually
figuring
not
things out.
Yeah, and it's usually not the people that are questioning that are destroying. So that's usually the Antifa, what do they call it?
Yeah.
Antifa.
Yeah, it's the people
Black
that are
Lives Matter movement.
pretty much getting paid, or like that are just ignorant, going around destroying stuff. And then what's funny about all that is afterwards, these states that put in these like all these things that have their places destroyed, now are asking for money from the government, which is from ultimately coming from the people of the country to pay them to have all their stuff rebuilt, even though they did not want to stop them from destroying everything. It's just like, and what's funny is the president's like, no, I'm not gonna pay you guys when we try to intervene. So it's like, well, that's neither here nor there, but it's like it's just funny.
We'll make it clear because, like, what he did say is that if the states were asking for money for the people, the individual
he would sign
people,
today,
he would sign it. But they're trying to get money for the businesses or the corporations or whatever that kind of, and the entities that kind of sat back and kind of let this happen.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what their plan was all along. Let's have everything be destroyed, and we'll ask for money, and we'll pocket it, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so basically, they're making sure the current, administration is making sure that that kind of thing doesn't happen, because that's what's been happening over and over again to us, the people, for who knows how long,
Yeah.
So
yeah, you look at most natural quote unquote disasters. It's like anytime like these things happen, and it ends up being like, we'll destroy all your stuff and we'll get funding, but the funding for some reason only goes to these businesses and stuff like that. Like, well, why don't we have anything? They're like, sorry, we actually have plans for you to be gone and do something else with that area. Can you move out, please?
So, no, yeah, it's interesting because it's like no matter where, it's not just the Great Awakening, but that's kind of be crap type stuff. It's gonna start to slow down and stop completely because it's not just about awakening to the truth of reality and raising your frequency and consciousness to a higher dimension or whatever, but it's about like what do you call it? Not equality. What word am I looking for?
It kind of is like equality.
Yeah, more equality and like unity with humanity and people not screwing people over as much. Basically, that's where we're moving to, and that's really awesome. It may take a little bit to get there because like everyone has to see it for it to happen. Humanity as a whole, we need to see this for it to happen.
Yeah. That's one thing I have to say about this whole like COVID thing. That's kind of funny. Is like, I don't think they actually expected this to happen, but they're showing that anyone and everyone, quote unquote, can have it or get it. It doesn't. There's no boundaries. What they're ended up doing is actually showing people that these lines of like division, like you have money, I have no money. I know you're brown, I'm white. These lines are being removed, so people are starting to see that hey, we're all the same. We're all in this together. Like all this, it's like it ends up actually bringing people together instead of like breaking them apart. That's why they had to do the whole like everyone needs to stay indoors and isolate because they saw more and more people started going out and being together around each other, and like that's where dialogue starts happening. More questions, more information sharing, and people being very social. It's like it actually makes them quite happy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they have to put in these barriers, but these barriers are constantly being bent and broken because people still want to be around each other, and they're like, wait, I don't care what you're telling me. It's like, I might die. That's what's interesting. Some of these people believe that they're going to die, but they're willing to take that risk just to be around friends, family, and other people because they see it to just be silly. They're like, I don't care. I'm going to go and be around people that I care about, and I want to talk to them.
Well, and another thing that's interesting there is that so yeah, it's kind of messed up when you look at it because there's two sides to it too here. Because I know we did a few videos about people are being you have to like stay away from everyone and whatever. I think that quiet time was actually important too for like the whole awakening process and anything else that comes up in the future because they're gonna probably try to throw a few more things out of the hat to see if they can try to change something, I guess. When I say they, it's whoever it is that's doing it. There we go. We'll leave it at that, right? Because the thing is, if anyone's watching any of our videos, like it all comes down to just the experience of living in this earthly realm. Over time, you gather experiences, you go far away from the light and then you come back to the light, sort of, that's kind of what it's about. And so I've gotten to a point at least where I don't see there's no good guys or bad guys necessarily. It's about moving toward the light again, and that's kind of what we're all doing, right? But so whatever's being thrown at humanity again to kind of like make people freak out again, like they did at the beginning of the year and all throughout the year, really. These instances you use them not to panic and freak out and get all fearful, but to kind of go within and think, and I guess take a walk in nature, do some nature walks and meditation during these times, right? But obviously, don't get caught up in what the news is telling you, right? But yeah, very interesting times, and yeah, just go with it. Any comments on that one, or any comments?
I think you're absolutely right. That quiet time, the reflection period, was actually very important for a lot of people, and the ones that really took advantage of that had a lot of kind of insight, or like the inner dialogues that they're able to have when there is no distractions, no work, none of that stuff. Not the ones that sitting there obviously like just drinking the whole time or smoking weed the whole time and watching Netflix and stuff like that, just passing out. Not those people. The ones that actually like took that time to be like, okay,
what do I really
what do
want?
I really want?
Right.
Exactly. It's like, who am I? Where do I stand in all this? Where is this all going? Is this something that's gonna be like a part of who I am? It's like the ones that actually ask the real questions, like that. Even like after a while, like, do I really want to go back to work? Is this the kind of life that I'm gonna be living? Am I okay with this? Those people had a lot of great information flowing through them, and that's a lot of people. There's actually a lot more than the way they try to tell people. A lot of people just watch tons of movies. Some people did. Some people did. A lot of more people did not. They were trying to figure things out. Like there's a lot of stuff that they were trying to like break through and like understand. And that time, as you're saying, was very beneficial to all of humanity. Because all across the world, pretty much they did this to everybody, and it gave lots of people a very eye-opening perspective, like on how much we were being controlled for work, for money, for everything. And now they actually had an opportunity to be like, okay, where do I fit in all this? Do I even like this? Do I want to do this anymore? And now look where we're at. Like more and more people are starting to challenge all these different aspects that they're typically would control them. Like a lot of people don't even want to go back to work. They want to figure something else out. But they have like with the money, the housing, and stuff like that, something that's kind of like bothering them. So it's like, but so they're trying to find a better balance than they had before. They don't like the idea of like working and sometimes bringing your work home with them. They're like, why am I doing this? What can I teach my kids if I have kids? It's like a lot of more questions have been developing through all of humanity, and this is a great thing. This is what we keep talking about, the whole Great Awakening. Like this is a part of it. This is like people are starting to ask those questions that they never even thought they'd ever ask themselves. And that's an amazing thing when you really think about it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people never ask them these questions to themselves or any other people at all.
Yeah. It's kind of like, who am I? Basically, that's that question is being asked is, who am I and what am I here for? And people are getting answers, and like you were mentioning, that some people are probably, especially like right now, because I think right now is a really interesting transition point for a lot of people. It's a lot of weird energies here in October, which we felt like at the beginning. I think there were some weird transits with some of the planets that you can really, when you really kind of quiet down and pay attention, you can really feel these energies kind of bouncing against each other.
Yeah.
A lot of tense energy at the beginning of October, and then like it kind of feels a little calm right now, but there may be some more coming up. But these energies are here to get people to shift something inside of themselves and start thinking.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, what you were saying, I just wanted to mention real quick what you were saying about people are at a point right now where they're really trying to figure out, what do I do? How do I do what I want to do? Because I know I want to make a change. And I think the advice that we can give there is don't overthink it.
Yeah. Don't go with what you feel is best. Go with what you feel is best. Don't go with what you know or what you think about is best.
You know you want to make a change. Start moving in that direction of making a change, but don't overthink it, because things will fall into place if your heart or your energies are in the right place. Knowing that what you are trying to get toward is going to happen, and just relax about it. Enjoy yourself, but make steps to move in that direction. You'd be surprised how quickly they can start to line up.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that about wraps up. You want to finish with anything else?
No, I think that would be good for today. Everyone, look for the skies.
Pay attention.
Pay attention to the skies.